Hello, my name is Dr. Colin Campbell, and I'm a senior research scientist here at Meter Group. And today, for a data deep dive, we're going to be talking about air temperature. Specifically, we're going to be trying to answer a question I've had for a really long time. I'm always looking on the web for temperature data for various things like going hiking or one of my experiments. And I've often wondered if those temperatures that I can get to estimate temperature at a specific location are as good as actually measuring air temperature at that location. And this is something I've thought about a lot, and it seems like the air temperature estimates from these web services are pretty good. And so I wanted to actually compare them. So here are data from a potato field in Grace, Idaho. And what I've done here is graphed a couple of things. So over here on the y-axis, we have air temperature right here. And on the x-axis is this time. It actually works out to be a little bit less than a month and a half. And I didn't pick that for any particular reason. It was just the data I had, and I wanted to compare it. And I also used these data in another chalk talk, so it seemed like a good idea to just go over them again. So in the darker colors are data collected from this regional weather station extrapolation to this location. And the lighter colors, the yellow and the light blue, those are data directly out of the field where we have an Atmos 41 all-in-one weather station actually measuring air temperature in the potato field itself. And it becomes pretty clear that as we look over here, the high temperatures of the Atmos 41 are somewhat lower than the high temperatures estimated here from that regional weather extrapolation. Now, that makes some sense to me because, of course, we're sitting out in the potato field with high evaporation, and so I would accept the idea anyway that the latent heat of cooling as we get a lot of evapotranspiration would actually cause the air to be a little bit cooler in these fields, especially considering the potatoes get all kinds of irrigation water. But it doesn't really entirely answer the question why we have these low temperatures that are consistently lower. Now, as you look at this, you might be thinking, well, over here and over here, those are pretty similar, and they are. So what might be the reason for that? Well, I didn't actually block these data for solar radiation load and some of these other things, which may be causing issues. But we can leave that maybe for another discussion. But the take-home point that I'm at least getting from this is that for a lot of these data, we're seeing a considerable overestimate of air temperature by the regional estimates compared to the in-field station. But it also begs the question, is this so important? Because yeah, you can see the difference. What does it mean as we calculate things like thermal time? So I did a quick analysis. Now, I didn't do this analysis for potatoes. I just put in the base temperature for wheat. I'm showing that right here. And that TB is our base temperature. If this doesn't make any sense to you, go back and look at the primer on thermal time that I did as a chalk doc in another episode. So the base temperature for wheat is about 2.6 degrees Celsius. And then I just went ahead and used this extrapolated area weather data to look at the day degrees accumulated over this month and a half period using two methods I discuss also in that other chalk talk, the simple summing method and the integral method. And we learned in that these are fairly close together, even though I thought they wouldn't be. So when we use the area weather data, what we see is we have 545 day degrees versus 555 if we use the integral method. Now, if we use the in-field weather station from the Atmos 41, we get significantly lower value at 486 and 489 day degrees. And so the take-home message here is that using the area weather data seems like it might be a good idea, but for the longer term, now short term, this may not matter so much if you're growing a short season crop and your only difference, so this is approximately, 10% difference, that over this time period, if we think of an average day degree value during this time as maybe 35-day degrees. Maybe it doesn't matter so much if you're just talking a couple weeks, but something over a month and a half, we see a possible difference where we would calculate something happening 2 days earlier than it actually did based on our regional weather versus our in-field weather measurements. So it's something to think about, and it further suggests that we need to focus on making in-field measurements if we want to get accurate information. So I'd strongly suggest you go out and you look at the Atmos 41 on our website, metergroup.com, and look at some of the things it can do and see if it might add value to your efforts.